All right, so for today's home workout, we're going to be focusing on a lower body pump with lunges, good mornings, and some bipolar sandbag squats. Then we'll be going into heavy upper body with some heavy push-ups, and then finishing off with a solid thruster Tabata. Enjoy. Starting off with some hip thrusts to the tune of Can't Get You Out of My Head by Kylie Minogue. The way it works, every time you hear the words "can't get you out of my head," you're going to perform one hip thrust. You're going to try to use your glutes and the inner thighs as you do the hip thrust. That's to hold the weight up and to perform the rep every time you hear the words. Try to keep the weight, whatever option you choose, on top of the abs so you can keep them stiff underneath that weight. On to some lunges. Now, the way we're performing these, we're looking to get as much tension and work happening from the front leg as possible. Try to find those angles where you can make that inside of the leg do most of the work. If you need to, you can feel free to add weight, but keep in mind, you want to try to make sure you feel the right muscles before you go about adding weight. With the good mornings, the ideal setup is going to be with the band. The more resistance, the harder it'll be. You want to loop it around like so, and then from there, allow the tension to pull you down so you feel that nice stretch in the back of the legs, and then you use the butt and the inner side of the legs on the way up. Keeping in mind, you want to think about pushing the floor away through this exercise so you get more of that leg through the pump and not the lower back. If you don't have a band available, you can use a weight like demonstrated here. That works just as well. You just have to keep the focus on making sure you get the stretch in the back of the legs, aka the hamstrings, on the way down, and using the legs on the way up. With the bag squat, we're going to elevate one foot on top of any kind of elevated surface that we have and treat it like any other kind of bag squat that we would do. So we set up the same way, pump the weights the same way, use tension by squeezing the object. Make sure you hit both sides just as evenly, but treat it the exact same way you would any other kind of bag squat. Look to feel more of a pump in the leg that's elevated. On to some heavy push-ups. Set up the same way you would for a usual push-up, and then just start loading with any weights that you have available to you. I used a couple of books as an easy way to start. You can pile them neatly on top, and then if need be, you can feel free to add more resistance with some dumbbells or kettlebells or any other weight that you have available. The heavier, the better. You can even load up into that little bag that we had before, make some resistance there, and when worst comes to worst, a partner always comes in handy. The worst of the worst, the thruster Tabata. Keys here are to move with speed for the 20 seconds that you're going for it. Look for depth on that squat and power on the way up, and then to get in as much air and as much rest as possible for the 10 seconds that you're taking a break. Look to set the tone hard on the first couple of rounds that you go and chase after that for every round after.